إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I welcome you once again to this session. And as Brother Jinshad, he has started the session with a beautiful example of holding on to burning coals. And this will be, inshallah, a session wherein we discuss about the difficulties, the addictions, and the problems which we face as a youth or in our campus life or as a youngster. And in these times of fitan and in these times wherein committing a sin, falling to addiction has become very easy. It has become just a click away. So inshallah, we will be discussing, and the topic of my discussion today will be the afflictions of addiction. The affliction, the problem, the calamity, the troubles which addiction brings into your life. Before that, I would like to tell you a very strong point. And inshallah, we will collaborate on this, and I will need your answers and your help on this. During the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a day in the history of Islam wherein the streets of Medina were flowing with alcohol. The streets of Medina were flowing with alcohol and wine. Can someone tell me why was that? And he gets a prize from my side. Raise your hands. I saw his hand coming first.
There was a revelation, a new revelation from Jibril saying that alcohol is from now banned.
Okay, excellent. That's the right answer. Here is your gift. It's high in calories, so just see and eat. Yes, and we need to keep this thumb rule in our mind, because I'll tell you one real life example related to this hadith. In my area where I used to live, there was a supermarket, and this was run by a good Muslim. He was a good Muslim brother. So one day when I went in his shop, as usual, so I saw one corner of the shop. It was a new corner now, and this corner had Marlboro and cigarettes and all type of new brands of cigarettes. And then I was like, okay, this is new introduction in the supermarket. And the brother is good. He's a Muslim, and he's a good practicing Muslim. He comes to pray. He comes for the lectures. So I took him at the side privately, and I told him, MashaAllah, you have a good shop, you have a good supermarket, and you are doing good business. Why have you put this cigarettes and these things of addiction, intoxicants over here? How much profit do you make out of it? Out of the whole shop, how much profit do you make out of it? He said, very minimum, 5 rupees on one packet or something, 10 rupees. I said, then this is something which is haram, and for you to sell this is also haram. Similarly, how for a person to smoke cigarette is wrong, is haram. The same way, the one who sells it, the one who transfer it, anyone who is associated with it, it is as same as for him. So he told me, yeah, it's haram, and inshallah I will remove it. So then he told me, just let this stock get finished. Just let this stock get over, and then I will not order new stock. I told him the same example of this incident which happened in Medina. Before the revelation that alcohol is completely haram, the people of Medina, they had wine and alcohol in their houses. They were drinking alcohol. As soon as the verses of forbidding alcohol came, they threw alcohol, and it was on the streets of Medina. This was the iman, this was the taqwa of the Sahaba. That's the reason they are the Sahaba and they are where they are. radiyallahu anhu wardu an. That Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. This is, and mind you, you might be knowing, even today, alcohol is expensive, not the cheap one. And even that alcohol, it was worth a lot of cash, you can say. It was expensive. But the worst came, alcohol is haram, they threw it. They didn't think, okay, let me finish this stock. Let me drink a couple of more glasses and then I will leave. Let me go back from Profcon and then I will think, let me just finish my third year, fourth year, and then I will think of quitting alcohol. No, these things are from shaitan. When you heard it, you quit it. This is the iman, and this is what is expected from a Muslim. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Alhamdulillah, the person, he removed it. Alhamdulillah. He didn't wait for the stock to get over. He removed that stock from his supermarket. So this is how we take the Sahaba as an example. Not that just we praise, okay, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu, they were great Sahaba, they were great caliphs. But in our life, we don't implement what they implemented, what they did. So for us to become better Muslims, we should implement the life of the Sahaba and keep this example always in mind. You might not be knowing a lot of things. You might come to know here in Profcon, okay, this is permissible, this is not permissible, this is haram. You immediately take action. You immediately take action. This is the way of a Muslim, and this is the way of the Sahaba. What was the way of Iblis? When he committed a sin, what did he do? He asked for time. He's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, give me time until the day of resurrection. This is the act of Iblis. And what did the Sahaba do? Immediately they left it. What did Adam alayhi salam do? When he made a mistake, when he committed a sin, what did he do? He immediately repented. He didn't wait, oh Allah, give me time till the day of judgment, like how we might be getting whispers from shaitan. We might think, okay, before I die, when I become 50 years of age, you never know. We might die tomorrow, today, just after this, immediately. No one knows when death strikes. So keep this in mind. Once you know something is not accepted, it is not acceptable, something is haram, we immediately quit it. Now, I have divided the addictions into basically 3 categories, okay? And these are the prevalent ones, and we need to discuss this because we can't keep running away, we can't keep hiding our faces, we can't, escape these things. Alhamdulillah, the one thing which I like about the organizers, they keep these bold topics so that we can discuss this openly and then we can know the reality of it. And this is our responsibility as Muslims to clarify that these things are haram and these things are not. Some things might be, you might feel uncomfortable hearing them, but this is the reality and you as students know it better than me. What happens in campus, what's happening out there in the world, you all know it very well. Therefore, inshallah, we will be discussing and touching on certain issues which are to be discussed. And feel free, inshallah, after this, we will have an open panel discussion, an open Q&A. So you can ask about anything, any question, whether you want to ask about addictions or your campus life or affairs or girls or whatever comes to your mind, whatever you feel is a difficulty in your campus life, you can go ahead and ask. By the way, if I would like to ask you, what is the one addiction which you feel is the most difficult for you at campus? Don't mention the whole history of it. Just give me points that what do you find is the problem in the youth in the campus, which is a severe addiction and which needs to be rectified? Yes. Huh? Fitnatun Nisa. Yes, from here. Huh? Use of alcohol and intoxicants. Yes. Yes, come on. You mean to say you don't find anything fitna? You are the generation of the Sahaba? Even they found certain things very difficult. So come on, open up. It's a fact. Music. Okay. Anything else? Speaking to girls. Okay. Sorry? Dressing. Okay. We discuss in the morning, yeah? Okay. So that's clear, inshallah. Racism. Okay. Okay. We'll have other sessions on this. This time we'll discuss about the fitna, the addictions which we are facing. Okay, so basically we are on the same lines. The things which you mentioned, I don't find anything new from your side. What I have on my hand, I don't find anything new. If you have anything new, please let me know. Something which you find really a problem. You find you need to rectify this. It is going out of your mind and you cannot, yes. Yes, looking at the gaze, your gaze. This is one of the biggest problems which the youth faces, the temptation. Now, starting off with the addiction of consumption, okay, something which we consume. And we have things like alcohol and drugs. You have hashish or whatever, marijuana and all these things. And sadly, these things are being, transferred through some evil people to the campus students and in colleges, universities, and whatnot. Despite it being illegal, it is being distributed amongst the youth and they are getting addicted to it. Now, regarding alcohol, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, innamal khamru wal maisiru wal ansabu wal azlamu, rijsum min amali shaitan, fashtanibuhu la'allakum tuflihun. O you who believe, intoxicants and gambling, dedication of stones, divination of arrows, all these are Satan's handiwork. All these are the handiwork of shaitan. So abstain from it so that you can become successful, so that you may prosper. So whenever you see anything which shaitan does or it's shaitan's handiwork, would we like to do it? We will not want to do it. Number one, it being haram. And number two, it being something which we know, shaitan, iblis is our enemy. Something which he does, something which is his work, we wouldn't want to imitate him. Alcohol is the mother of all evils. It is the mother of all evils. You see a lot of lives being destroyed. It is not just the person himself. When a person is intoxicated, he has alcohol consumed, he commits zina, he commits murder, he commits robbery, he will fail in his exams, he will be not in his state of mind. His brain doesn't work as it should be working, and so on and so forth. You will find a lot of problems which are related to alcohol. Not only this, the health problems such as lung cancer, liver cancer, throat cancer, and there is a long list of cancers which you can get through alcohol. And you have a lot of other diseases. Basically, what alcohol does, it intoxicates your mind. Okay? And there is an inhibitory system in our brains, which tells us what is correct and what is wrong. Fine? Now, for example, if you want to eat food, fine? Now, this system will tell you, okay, you eat food from your mouth. You take your hand and then you eat food from your mouth. If you want to go to the bathroom, okay, your system tells you, the inhibitory system tells you, you need to go to the washroom in hiding, in private and not in public, and then you have to relieve yourself. Your inhibitory system tells you, this is your mother, this is your sister. Okay? So you are not supposed to do something which is wrong with them. This is what your inhibitory system tells you. But when you consume alcohol, when you get intoxicated, this system is affected. You cannot distinguish what is right, what is wrong. And that's the reason you see many people who drink alcohol, they might be urinating on the roads. They don't have this, they might be just sleeping on the road. They're just wasted on the roads. They don't eat food. They're all dirty. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. And therefore many people, they commit incest. They do wrong things with their close family members. And it is because of alcohol. Later on, when they come to their senses, they realize when the intoxication is gone, they realize, oh, I have done this. And so many people are in jail. So many people, they have committed crimes and murder just because of alcohol. And how does it all start? Just one peg. Okay? Your friend might come up and tell you, it's just one peg. Just a half a glass. Come on. Be a man. Don't be shy. Why don't you? Half a peg does nothing to you, right? And this is the khutuwat al-shaytan. See, shaitan, he is smart, okay? He was stupid when he disobeyed Allah, okay? But generally to deceive us, he is smart and he uses smart techniques. And as technology develops, he develops his ways of fitna, his ways of deviating us. So shaitan will come to you through a man or through the whisperings. He'll tell you it's just half a glass. Just come on, it's just your maybe graduation ceremony, or it's just your friend's wedding, or it's your relative's party, it's your friend's birthday party, just half a glass. And then this half a glass comes again, it comes again, comes again. And then when you are struggling with your exams, he comes and tells you, okay, come on, have one more glass and you will feel nice. You will be able to memorize it better, your subjects, your studies. And similarly, this one peg, half a glass, it goes on and develops, and then ultimately you become a drunkard. You won't find those who are drunkards, you won't find them drinking 2 bottles and starting from drinking 2 bottles. They also started with just half a peg, 1 peg, and then they become drunkards. So beware of this deception. It's your friend, it's your relative, anyone. You know it. What the Prophet ﷺ, he said, what is haram in large quantity, it's haram in small quantity also. Okay? Like, would anyone even think of having, one tablespoon of urine? It's just 1 tablespoon. Okay, don't have a glass. Glass is very difficult. Just have 1 tablespoon. You will say, no, it's filthy. Similarly, when you have alcohol, whether it's 1 glass, 1 bottle, or 1 tablespoon, it's haram, and this is what we should keep in our mind. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Allah has cursed alcohol, one who drinks it, one who pours it, the one who sells it, the one who buys it, the one who squeezes it, and the one for whom it is squeezed, the one for whom it is carried, and the one who carries it. All are cursed. The transportation guy, the manufacturer, the one who manufactures, the one who produces, the one who carries, the waiter in the hotel who brings alcohol. Hotel management is not something overall a bad thing, but then if you have to serve alcohol, it's not permissible. You might say, I'm not drinking, I'm just serving. It's not permissible. The hadith says, the one who serves, the one who drinks, the one for whom it is carried, all are cursed, and it is haram for everyone. Similarly, those who come up, there are people who come up with excuses. Okay, alcohol is haram, but then there are these drugs, okay? These are not something which is mentioned in the Quran to be haram. So what do we do about it? You have an answer? Yes?
Actually, the reason for avoiding alcohol because it intoxicates.
Okay. Anyone else?
All these drugs that are substitute to alcohol, they intoxicate.
Okay.
If you are intoxicated, you are free to go and commit any atrocity.
Okay. Good one. Anyone else?
Instance.
Sorry? I didn't get it. Can you be loud? Instance. Instincts. Okay. What do you mean by instincts?
Prophet said, like, there will come a time when you will be faced with scenarios where you don't know the right and wrong, and then your instincts will guide you.
Okay. That means your desires, your base instinct. Okay. Fine. Yes. MashaAllah. Did you see my notes? Huh? Did you see my tab? Yes, very good, MashaAllah. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Kullu muskirin khamr wa kullu muskirin haram. Clear cut. Over. Period. That every intoxicant is haram. Okay? Kullu muskirin khamr. Every intoxicant is khamr, and every intoxicant is haram. Kullu muskirin haram. So whether it is any type of drug, any type of tobacco, any type of drink, it intoxicates you. It is something which is haram, and we need to abstain from it. Now, another thing which is consumed and which is a problem, and that is smoking. Have you seen people, Muslims, smoking? And this is one of the biggest problems which we have. And we've seen people standing in near Masjid al-Haram and in ihram and just taking a puff. They are waiting for the fast to get over so that they can break their fast with the puff. And they come up with all weird ideas that it is not haram, it is makruh and all these things. But then when we go to the authentic texts, when we see from the Quran and Sunnah, smoking is haram. And how does it start? People think, they saw an actor, taking a cigar, removing his Zippo and burning the cigar and puffing it. Do you know the famous model on the Marlboro pack who did the Marlboro advertisement? Do you know how he died? He died because of cancer, smoking. So what you see is not always what the reality. These people, they just advertise, they show you some good models and a nice pack. Even as far as smoking is concerned, even the pack says, what does it say? Smoking is dangerous to health, smoking kills, smoking is injurious to health, and all these things. And nowadays, subhanAllah, still people buy. Nowadays they have this ugly type of picture, which after cancer is caused, this is made on the box. I saw one box. This is there on the box. Still people go and buy and they want to smoke. They want to, destroy their life. It is like someone tells you, come and buy a bike from me, a motorcycle, which does not have one tire in it. It does not have one tire in it. Come and buy from me and try to ride it on one tire, and it doesn't even have a proper seat. But come and buy and give me your money. And you go happy. You give him the money and you buy this junk from him. Similarly, what people are doing, they go, they waste their money, they waste their time, they spoil their health. In what? In something they think this is cool. I say they are fool. It is not cool. It makes you look like a fool. Because you are wasting your money, your health, your time, in what? In destroying yourself. Then once you get these diseases, throat cancer, lung cancer, asthma and whatnot, then you regret, then you go buy medicines. So it is something which is haram in Islam, and the proofs for this are, Allah mentioned in the Quran about the Prophet ﷺ in Surah Araf, ayah number 157. He makes lawful to them the good things and makes unlawful to them the impure things. Is cigarette pure or impure? Huh? Does anyone have any doubt that it's pure, tahir? It's mashallah, like the good, nice idli dosa you get here. Can someone compare it to that? Well cooked and all clean? No, it's impure. We all know about it. And therefore, the Prophet ﷺ, Allah is mentioned in the Quran, the Prophet allows them pure things. That's the reason in our deen, all that which is pure is halal for us. Pure, tahir, halal, it's permissible for us. All that which is khabais, all that which is impure, it is forbidden by the Prophet ﷺ through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. According to World Health Organization, more than 1 million people die every year because of cigarette smoking. 1 million people die. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, do not destroy yourselves with your own hands. Therefore, committing suicide and doing anything which harms yourself, it is haram in Islam. Period. For example, we understand with a different example. If someone is diabetic, he has diabetes, okay, and the doctor has said it's very severe. You cannot have sugar at all, or you cannot have any sweet at all, or else you might die, or you might face severe consequences. Because diabetes has various consequences on your body. It can affect your eyes, your hand, whatever. So for this person to consume sweets, this becomes impermissible, because this now is a cause of his own destruction. Similarly, we know cigarette smoking, alcohol, drugs, this causes you destruction. Therefore, it is something which is haram and we have to abstain from it. Another big problem of smoking is SHS, secondhand smoking. Now, the person who's smoking is harming himself, but he's causing a similar or more harm to the one who is next to him. Because the one who inhales the smoke thrown out by the smoker, that is, according to the research, that is more dangerous. And if you have a friend who is next to you smoking, you go away, you move from him. If someone sits and tries to light a cigarette, tell him, please, don't light it in front of me, because it's going to harm you more. So what about the person who's harming himself, harming others? What is his, how will his scale be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know, as general human beings, as our instinct, basic instinct, we don't even want to harm a small cat. Okay? A small cat. If we know that this will be harmful for the cat, we don't do it. But then we are going and harming human beings with this SHS, secondhand smoke, and we are all okay and we say this is makruh, this is not haram, and this is something which is not justified. I met a youngster on the road, he was smoking. He was a Muslim. So I went up to him and I told him that this is something which is, you're smoking as a Muslim, this is something which is not permissible. He said, no, it is makruh, it is allowed, and it is, what are you saying, it is haram, it's not haram. I told him, okay, if at this moment the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw you smoking, how would you feel? Will he approve of you? Or will he become disgusted at you? Or even will you like to smoke in front of him? And this is a question we need to ask. When it is not haram or it is not something which is bad, why do we hide and smoke? Why don't we smoke in front of our parents, our teachers? We go hide, lit a cigarette, and then we bury it, and then we are trying to find all ways wherein, we can hide and smoke, putting the room freshener in the room so that my mother doesn't know that I have smoked and there is smoke in the room. So whom are you trying to fool? So this is something which is wrong and we all know it by default. And similar goes, by the way, for shisha, bubbly, and all what is there, hookah, whatever you call it. Some research says that hookah is more harmful than cigarettes. That gir, which people sit and do. You must have seen it. The bubbly, they call it bubbly and whatever. It started now in India also. It's usually in the other countries, but now it's coming to India, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us. Now, this is the addiction of what we consume. Moving ahead, the addiction of the eyes. And looking at, as you all are in campus, and you all might be facing this difficulty, looking at women. Now, I would like to know, is it normal or is it abnormal to look at a woman and get attracted or tempted? Is it normal or abnormal? Huh? Who says normal? And who says abnormal? We don't have any abnormal person here? Okay. Basically, if we were to put it, this time you didn't see my notes. If we were to put it, it's normal and abnormal, both. Generally, as a human being, it is a normal process wherein you are created in this way, and you need to realize this. For you to protect yourself, you need to realize this. You can't be, no, nothing happens, and she's like my sister, and I will give her a sister band, what they have, and nothing happens to me, and she's even more than my real sister. So get all these things out of your mind, because this is not the reality. As human beings, we are created and we are tempted, we are attracted towards women. This is the general reality, and therefore it's normal. But why do I say it's abnormal? It's abnormal for a believer to stare, to look, and to get tempted towards a woman, and to look at her with lusts and desire. This is abnormal for a believer, because the believer is more than this. He's not so lowly. He's not so low that he lusts behind women. He goes and keeps checking them out and teasing them and looking at them, staring at them. A believer doesn't do this. A Muslim, a mu'min, he doesn't do this. Therefore, for him, it is something which is abnormal. The Prophet ﷺ once, the Sahaba, they were in the stages of improvement. So once, as I said, it's normal. So once the Prophet ﷺ was there and a Sahabi was there. And the Sahabi was looking, he was staring at a woman who came to ask a question to the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ took his face and moved it to the other side, teaching the Sahabi that this is something which is not correct. You are not supposed to stare at women. You might have women, you might have girls in your campus. Lower your gaze. If there is a necessity, lower your gaze and talk to them and just move on. Okay? You don't need to stare at them and make them uncomfortable. There are some boys, there are some men who make girls uncomfortable sitting at the nook and corners and trying to tease them, wherein it makes life difficult for them. Rather, you be a person whom the sisters feel comfortable when they pass by. If they know, okay, these brothers are there, they don't stare, they don't look at women, they are respectable, they are honorable, they will be more comfortable. This is how you protect the sisters. Not that you yourself are, like a flirtatious creature going around and throwing numbers and trying to tease women. This is something which we as believers, it doesn't suit us. Otherwise, we say, what will be the difference between animals and us? If you have this animal instinct, what is the difference? As a believer, you need to know your limits. Therefore, Allah mentioned in the Quran, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ, that say to the believing men that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is linking these two things. Lower your gaze and this will guard your modesty. This gaze, this first look, this look with temptation, this is the poisoned arrow from the devil. As the scholars, they have described, this look from the person, this is a type of a look which is a poisoned arrow from the devil. It can cause a lot of destruction. It can cause a lot of problems. And therefore, when you see that when you freely roam around your eyes, you're looking at women, you're looking on your mobile phone, YouTube, you're looking on, you're checking out magazines and all this and that, you will find your heart, it lacks iman. You won't find that sweetness of iman. You won't find that sweetness in your heart. What do you expect? If you watch a music video, or if you stare at some woman, and then you go and perform salah, will you get khushu in your salah? Of course not. You will get all those images coming in your mind, because this is how human beings work. This is how psychology works. This is how we are created. It is not that khushu is something, you just go, you press a button, okay, khushu. Then you switch off the button, you go back, you watch all magazines and movies and videos, and then this is not how khushu works. Therefore, people ask, we want khushu in salah. Then you need to improve your life outside salah. Then you will get that khushu, submissiveness in salah. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the adultery of eyes is looking at haram things. The zina of eyes is looking at something which is haram. The haram things, whether it is on your tablet, it is on your mobile, it is a video. And inshallah tomorrow we'll discuss this a little in more details about the social networking websites and platforms wherein we have become so casual. We might not commit a sin in reality, but then when we go on these platforms, malish, just keep doing it. It's all okay for us. So we need to get out of that. The problem is, through this, we have become desensitized. When we watch all these things, we don't find it to be haram anymore. We don't find it a problem. Once you look at, okay, you say, no, astaghfirullah, it's haram. Second time, third time, fourth time, the fifth time, sixth time, you will become okay. Come on, everyone is doing it, I will also keep doing it. And this is how you spoil your heart. This is how you destroy your iman. Remember this example, my dear brothers. Our eyes, they work like a webcam. Okay? The webcam, when you click a photo, where does the photo get stored? In the device, in the laptop or in your hard disk. Okay? Now, that is stored over there. Similarly, our eyes, when we look at something, it gets stored in our heart, in our brains. And then later shaitan can come and tempt you on that. After you've clicked the image, you remove the webcam, still the picture is stored. When we look at things, when we look at something haram, it has a direct impact on our heart, on our brains. So keep this in mind. The first look is of course exempted. And the first look is not that you look for 10 minutes. That you're staring. Okay, this is the first look. No, this is not the first look. The first look is accidental. The Prophet ﷺ said, the accidental look is forgiven. Which means, and you're going in your campus and you happen to look at a girl. Okay, you look down, or of course, you don't want to, you are on your bike or your car, someone is crossing, okay, the first look, and then you lower your gaze, you don't keep staring with lust and desire. This is okay. But then when you go, you know it. I don't need to explain. When you know, okay, you look the second time, and then you open from your own hands. You open websites, you open social platforms, and then you are chatting with the girls, and then you check out her Facebook profile, then her pictures, then her wedding pictures, the wedding, which her sister's wedding maybe, whatever. And then how to send her proposal and all the whole 9 yards. You know it well. So this is something wherein people have become, the most sophisticated word for me is shameless. People have become shameless. They don't understand, they don't realize the consequences which comes after all these things. Everyone sitting here, would you like someone else to stare at your sister? Huh? Any man here, any man in his common sense, would he like someone to stare at his sister or his mother? No one. So how can we look at someone with our lustful eyes and lustful desire, lustful gaze? Wallahi, it is something which we should ponder and we should rectify our conditions. Thirdly, the addiction of the years. The addiction of our years. And that is through music. And this is something which has a great impact again. See, Allah has given us these senses, our mouth, our tongue, our ears, our eyes. It's not just limited to do what it does, but it has an impact on our brains, on our heart. Now I have a question once again, for which you don't get any prize now. The question is, and you all can answer it together. If you are given two options, okay, two options to choose from, that you want to become a monkey or a pig, which one would you choose? None. Oh, people still, are there some, they still want to be monkey? Anyone who wants to be a pig? No, none of us, right? Listen to this hadith. Abu Malik al-Ashari radiallahu anhu, he narrates that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, people among my nation will drink wine, calling it by another name. And musical instruments will be played for them, and singing girls will sing for them. It's all happening nowadays. It's all there. Allah will cause the earth to swallow them up and will turn them into monkeys and pigs. Now, is this difficult for Allah to do? Anyone has doubt to the weight of an atom? No, because Allah has done this. Read Surah Baqarah. Allah turned one of the nations into swines, into monkeys. So we need to get this straight in our mind. Drinking wine, calling it with other names, listening to music and sing, all these things, they have serious consequences. And we wouldn't like to be either a monkey or a swine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, and of mankind is he who purchases idle talks to mislead men from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Abbas, who is one of the mufassir, he is the mufassir Quran, and he is the scholar of the ummah. He says this is referring to the singing, which is nowadays prevalent. Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he said, this ayah was revealed concerning singing and musical instruments. So anyone comes up with this idea that, singing, let's have some songs and music, you say this is something which is haram, which is not permitted in my deen, and this is something I abstain from. Because for us, technically speaking, we can only have the Quran memorized, or we can have music in our heart. We can't have both things in our heart. We can have music, or we can have the Quran. Now it's up to you to choose which one do you want in your heart. Therefore, one of the persons, one of the sheikh, he narrated a story, a live incident, wherein a highway police, he comes to the sheikh and he narrates this story. He says, one day I was on the highway, and we policemen, we were discussing certain things with each other. All of a sudden, we heard a big bang, and it was really loud. We ran to the scene, and we saw there was a car crashed, a big car accident. They went quickly, they went and saw inside, there was a person who was almost about to die. So they quickly called the ambulance, and they put the person in the ambulance, and the police, he's there, he's a Muslim, the police, and then he's going with this person. It happened that that person was also Muslim. So now, a person, he comes to know that, okay, now this person, he will pass away. It's difficult for him to be saved. So at that time, this police, he asks the person to say, La ilaha illallah. Because this is what something we should say during our last times. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever says La ilaha illallah, he will enter Jannah during his last times. So the person, he is telling him, say La ilaha illallah. He repeated many times. And then all of a sudden he heard some voice. He went close to him. He heard something murmuring. He's murmuring something. He went more closer. He heard he was singing some song. And while singing that song, he collapsed and died. This is what? Just one song, just two songs. This is what it does. If your life is upon these songs and music, this is what something will come to you at the end. If your life is upon these intoxicated things, alcohol and wine, that might be the last thing you might be dying upon. If your life is upon looking at haram and all these things, that might be the last thing you might be dying on. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect and save all of us from it. So, as we don't have much time, inshallah, we can discuss the afflictions of these addictions in the Q&A, in the panel. I would just like to give you briefly what are the afflictions which are caused by these addictions. We just have like 2-3 minutes more, inshallah. Number one, and a very severe punishment is it takes you away from Allah. All these addictions, addiction of consumption, of your eyes, of your ears, this takes you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It makes you alienated towards the deen of Allah. You become alienated. You don't find that sweetness in your prayer, in Quran. You become, let's keep committing more sins. It takes you away from the zikr, from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. SubhanAllah, this is scary. This is scary, and we should really get this correct in our minds. Allah mentions, whoever turns away from my remembrance, whoever turns away from my remembrance, he shall have a difficult life. Allah will make his life difficult. So if you are indulged into these addictions, the biggest affliction, the biggest trial, the biggest problem is you go away from Allah and your life becomes difficult. And you must have seen this. People who are into these addictions, their life is miserable. The hereafter is busted. It's gone. The hereafter, Allah knows best what will be their condition. But in this world itself, they are living a miserable life. They don't have anything. They fail. They don't have a job. They don't have, because what are they spending their life upon? Intoxications and all these haram things. They think we are enjoying for some time and this enjoyment will remain forever. But this is not the case. So remember this, these addictions, they have a severe affliction on one's life. That is, it takes you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Life becomes difficult. Grief, anxiety, sorrow, and all these things, a person is affected and a person finds it difficult to come out of these things, except whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides. It spoils your family life. It spoils your student life. You are not that attentive. You cannot learn. You cannot memorize. Your deen is gone. You don't attend lectures anymore. You're sitting in the khutbah, but nothing goes inside you. Every Friday you go to the khutbah, nothing goes inside you. You attend lectures, but nothing goes inside you. Where is the problem? The problem is the addictions you are addicted to. Finally, I would like to conclude my lecture giving you the solution, and one of the only solutions which we can get out of these addictions. Because the times which we are living in, it's, as Brother Jinshad at the beginning he said, it's very easy to commit a sin. For you to get alcohol, pornography, all these things, it's all very easy. The only solution, the only thing which can protect you is the taqwa of Allah, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And listen to this ayah and keep this ayah in your mind. And whenever you are tempted to do something haram, to be addicted to something which is not lawful, remember this ayah. Surah Naziyat, ayah number 40 and 41. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَحَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. As for him who fears standing before his Lord, for him he shall have Jannah, an everlasting place. Who fears standing before his Lord? You fear standing before your Lord because your hands, your tongue, your ears, your eyes, everything will be a witness against you in front of your Lord. You can lie to your parents, to your teachers, to the faculties, everyone, but you cannot lie in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your hands, your legs, your eyes will bear witness in front of Allah. Allah is telling, he who fears, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَحَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. He who fears standing before his Lord and protects himself from his desires. All the addictions, all the haram things, all the lowly desires, for him the reward is Jannah. This is the verse which we need to keep in mind, and this will inshallah help us. Allah also mentioned Surah Mulk, ayah number 12. If that can be displayed inshallah on the screen. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ. Subhanallah. Those who fear their Lord in secret. No one is looking at you. You're in a closed room. You have internet. You have your mobile. You have Wi-Fi connected. You have your laptop. You can open any website. You can go and open anything on YouTube. You remember this verse, Surah Mulk, ayah number 12. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ. Those who fear their Lord in secret, they shall surely have forgiveness and a great reward. Allah will forgive them. Shaitan comes and tempts you, open this website. Shaitan comes and tells you, chat with this girl at your campus. You're alone, your parents are not here. Remember this verse, abstain yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you and you shall have a great reward. I conclude my lecture, and with this inshallah, if you all have any questions, we will be having a panel discussion. I conclude my lecture. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.